For my first instructional strategy, I wanted to focus on just basic learning disabilities. That could encompass a lot of different areas, whether it's writing or it's with reading comprehension or maybe a hearing or a sight impairment, but mostly just an inability to process information the way someone without the disability would be able to process. And so the strategy that I wanted to suggest was a portfolio assessment. This is an area that I would like to explore a little further. Even though I don't work with many students that have disabilities, I do have a few that if I could assess them in different ways, then I feel like they would do better than just a traditional assessment. The source for this was our textbook, and then I found, which I believe this comes straight from the textbook too, because this is the last name that is referenced in the textbook here, is this teaching students math problem solving through graphic presentations. And so there's information about it in that one as well. Okay. Portfolio assessments are just authentic assessments. They give a more accurate picture of how well the student is doing and what the student is able to do than just a regular assessment would be. So it gives a more accurate description. These are good for students who do not perform well on standardized tests. And again, it could be a student who doesn't have a diagnosed disability. There are plenty of those students who would perform better on a portfolio assessment. According to the textbook, a portfolio assessment is just a collection of samples of a student's best work that's gathered over a period of time. They're also a great way to show mastery of any IEP goals that have been set for that student because it is tailored to the student. Some considerations for doing portfolio assessments would be that you first need to make sure that you identify the goal of the portfolio assessment. You don't want to have no idea and no direction on how you want to proceed. You want a really clear goal for how to do this. And you could do that by thinking of the different types of portfolios that you could use. You could have a showcase where you were just giving an overall presentation of the material. It could be a reflective portfolio where that student has reflected back on the learning a different concept. And it can be a process where you see where the student has taken a concept and been able to build on that. Also, you would want to think about establishing procedures for organizing the portfolio. Again, that kind of goes back to the goal that you have an idea of how you want to do the portfolio in a way that you would like to put it together. Continuing these considerations, when you go to put a portfolio together, you'd want a wide range of artifacts that the student has produced. And so you have a nice variety of different artifacts to show the student's accomplishments. Make sure that you record the significance of the items that are included in the student's portfolio. Like, why was the artifact produced? You know, what was the reasoning behind it? And then you'd want to review and evaluate the portfolios periodically to make sure that they are up to date and accurate up to date as far as like what the student knows all the way through that. Some examples of work products that could be included in a portfolio are audio recordings, oral reading samples, summaries of science experiments, poems, art projects, book reports, excerpts from journals, weekly quizzes, and math worksheets. And that is my portfolio assessment as an instructional strategy for learning disabilities, mild to even up to severe.